TJ, how you feeling this morning?
I'm good, man. How are you guys doing?
Doing well.
I wanted to ask you about Dennis Allen and how, he obviously coached the Saints. He's fired last year, roughly a year ago. I think it was right after Week 9. And now here he is coaching against his old team, and he downplayed it because he's kind of at least publicly, a very kind of low-profile guy and didn't get too worked up about it, said he wanted to talk about the football. And then you see that video of the locker room and Ben Johnson presenting him with the game ball, and you guys played great defense. And he gives a little speech about not wanting to be there, and God has a plan, and you end up with people that you want to work with, and he has this great moment with you guys. Was that difficult for him all week? Did you get a sense that this game meant something to him before that moment occurred?
Honestly, all week we really didn't get that feeling from him. I was saying this earlier. DA's the type we could have been playing Libertyville High School, man, and he would have been amped up to go play that game. So it wasn't something that we were we could feel in that sense. But as a just from the human and the human aspect, you understand that. I'm sure there's some motivation there for sure. A lot of guys, it's been the same for me. There have been other places that they didn't watch it, and that's how it goes. So. In the business aspect, you understand, but to out there and go get 4 takeaways and play some pretty good defense and against his former team and things like that, man, it's pretty cool for sure.
TJ, before you came back 2 games ago, this defense had a hard time stopping the running game, and the past 2 weeks, that's been probably as impressive as anything. And I obviously. You wonder if it's just a personnel thing where Edmonds moves outside, you're in the middle, helping everyone to get lined up. How would you describe what's changed in the past 2 games besides your arrival, and why you guys have now been better at stopping the run?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like just as a unit, man. Again, we kind of started in camp with this scheme, and now it's got some games under our belt where we've got into a rhythm in a way of how we're supposed to be doing things, kind of the big picture of the scheme of what we're trying to get accomplished, man. And I feel like everyone's kind of getting their own confidence with that. And to be honest, I feel like the defensive line is causing havoc right now. I do. I think our tackles inside with Big Bill and Dexter and Dio and Tez on the outside, I think have done a really good job of just kind of setting that tone early. And now you're getting guys that are rotating in like Dom, who are kind of feeding off that as well. But I feel like that's a unit that's really starting to take off, man. And you see it every single week. And as a linebacker, when they're playing like that, you love it, because then you can just get to go out there and read the quarterback and go make some plays. So, but I feel like the past 2 weeks, those guys have been really vital to kind of what's been going on, man.
There have been some really big moments. I mean, you mentioned the takeaways. To get 15 takeaways during this 4-game winning streak is remarkable. It's just an exceptional performance. You lead the NFL with 16 takeaways thus far this season. I heard Kevin Byard say you're hoping to get to 30 by the end of the year. Well, you're ahead of that pace. I mean, you may get more. How do you get that many takeaways? How does it, we always hear this idea that they come in bunches, but they're coming in different ways. How do you describe what's happening?
Yeah, they do come in bunches for sure. But I feel like it's one of those things where especially when you kind of see it happen, it really just gives you the confidence, man, of just wanting to go out there and make those plays. And again, it starts up front for us. It starts with the defensive line, and you see now kind of with these forced fumbles that we're starting to get from them, of them just kind of being active. And I think everyone's starting to get upset with the DBs for getting all the takeaways, so we're trying to join in on this, man. But yeah, man, it's been fun, and I think it's one of those things that has to continue for where we want to go as a team and as a defense, man. If it's something we want to take pride on, we got to do it every single week. So excited to get back to it this week too.
All right, TJ, you grew up here. You understand the fan base. You know the city. You start 4-2, people get excited. You started 4-2 last year, and people got excited. What's the difference this year from last year?
Honestly, I don't know. I can't really think too much about the difference between last year and this year. I do know how this city works, and I do know the excitement that's around it right now. But for us, man, it's 1 week at a time. I think we've done such a good job of kind of keeping our process the same, and I think Coach Johnson's been really key on that, and kind of just keeping everything in house and what we're trying to do, and also keeping our heads where they need to be, man. And again, we also know that we haven't played perfect, so I don't think there's any type of we've arrived type thing in this building. And this is a team, I feel like, in general, in all three phases, that we could be so much better in ways. And I think we want to get to that more than anything. And I think we know once we get to that aspect, we'll be hard to stop and hard to beat. So that's kind of the chase for us right now.
This segment with TJ Edwards is sponsored by Plumbers 911. Plumbing emergency, call the plumbing professionals, available 24/7 at 1-833-PLUM-911. Have you guys taken to Dennis Allen? In other words, you hear Ben Johnson talk about buy-ins and everyone's buying in. Do you feel like there is a buy-in? Do you feel like he's helping you guys play better football?
Yeah, absolutely. Dennis Allen, his expectations, they don't change, man. No matter who he's talking to, he's going to coach, Grady Jarrett as hard as he coaches a rookie, and it's just that's something you can appreciate. He really does that every single day, and as a player and as a man, you can respect someone who kind of shows up and goes about his business no matter what's going on. And he kind of keeps those expectations the same, but he's constant energy. He's going to let you know when you're not doing something right, and he's going to let you know when you did something well. So, and kind of like I said earlier, man, it doesn't matter what's going on or who we're playing. He's going to show up and expect to go dominate. So, as a guy on the team, and especially on defense, when you like someone who just wants to be aggressive, you definitely respect that for sure.
All the takeaways, I think they're great to point out and talk about. They almost overshadow some of the other statistical things that you guys have accomplished. You're third in the league defensively on third downs and getting off the field in terms of the percentage. And I think third downs are different than the others. How much pride do you take in that, and what do you think is a different approach on third down for you guys?
Yeah, third downs, I feel like have been a strong suit for us for sure. And as you guys know, man, that's a first and second down stat. If you can get teams in those positions where it's third and long, that means you're doing something right, and you're playing good team defense. Especially kind of now, this is a 4-down league, so being able to stop teams on third and long and kind of keeping them there has been something that I think we've done really, really good job of. And again, I think that starts up front, man. It starts with our D-line going to do what they do, and then in the back end, just kind of, I think throughout the week, our process of kind of how we're getting through routes and what we're trying to get accomplished has been really good, man. And that's when the takeaways are showing up too.
You guys now go to Baltimore. They are a team that has been a disappointment up to this point. They're coming off a bye week. They should have Lamar Jackson, the former league MVP, back. You look at them, and I think the opening line has you guys far from favored. I believe you're 6.5-point dogs, and I don't know if you care about any of that stuff, but it's not kind of the most respectful way of positioning you. But I just wonder, how difficult is it to go on the road? How difficult is it to win a 5th consecutive game in the NFL? It just seems like there's a lot that you're going to have to deal with this week.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to deal with every week. So this isn't anything different. But obviously, it's a really good football team. No matter what their record is, this has been a team that's been Super Bowl contenders and things like that for the past year. So we're excited though, man. That's where we're at. We're excited. Kind of like I said earlier, we haven't played our best football yet, and I think that's the chase that we're trying to get to right now. And we do that, we can compete with anybody. So I think at this point, we're excited to get out there. I never played out there either, so I'm excited just to kind of get to Baltimore. I've never really been out there, see what's going on, and try to go get this next one. That's what we want to do. We want to keep this streak going for sure.
All right, so yesterday, take us through this. It's 3rd and 20, and Rattler completes a short pass to Taysom Hill, who then turns and throws a lateral to Kamara, and it looked like it was a challenge and a successful challenge, but in that play, what was going through your head, and how difficult can that be to defend?
Yeah, it was definitely, you tip your hat to that, because it was a really good play to kind of what we were doing. And, the underneath throw, I could tell there was something more to it. I just didn't think it was going to be a backwards lateral to the opposite flat, so they definitely kind of saw something and made a really good play on it. But as again, we call those long foul balls, man. It didn't matter. So we'll keep going to the next one.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like 33 yards, something like that. I mean, they would have converted that thing, and that totally changed the game. And it was weird because they kind of threw a flag, then they picked it up, then the challenge happens, and it's reversed. It's just odd when you see a play like that unfold.
Absolutely, yeah.
Emotionally, this defense looks like it feeds off of certain guys at times, and that's obviously from a fan or media perspective. But Jaquan Brisker seems to be one of those guys. He's an energy guy. He's a juice guy. And when he's going and when he's playing at a high level, it seems like this is a different defense. How important has he been? Because this was yesterday. He played in the 6th game, and last year he didn't get that far because of the concussion issue that knocked him out the rest of the year. But this seems like this secondary can do what it wants to do when he's in the lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Brisk has just been constant energy, like you see. I mean, that's a physical dude, a physical guy playing safety, flying in, and sometimes just reckless as hell. But you need that. You need a guy like that who really has no fear in that sense. But I think he's playing really good football right now. I think just before we go on the field, we're all talking and things like that, and he's always out there just kind of chirping and getting everyone ready, hitting people in the pads, just making sure that our energy kind of stays up. And you really need that throughout the game, and guys definitely kind of gravitate towards that. And then you see him out there, running people over and making, sacks and things like that. He's playing really good football right now, for sure.
How upset was Andrew Billings when he was called for holding, and then like 2 minutes later, he's clearly being held on a play? That must have been very kind of.
And what's he like when he gets upset?
Yeah, I know. Those. I mean, it's interesting when they always call those on defensive linemen. I feel like they get held every single play, and so it's a tough call, but that's how it goes. I actually was. Me and Big Bill have a pretty good relationship. I was talking to him after the game. He's like, "How was it today?" I was like, "Man, I felt like I was pretty clean most of the day." I was like, "So clean, you got a holding penalty, man. You don't have to do all that just to keep us clean, man. You're all right." But no, he's again another guy who's just an anchor for our team, and I also think right now he's playing really kind of finding his footing in this scheme and playing some really good ball.
TJ, how would you describe the dynamic between the defense and the offense on a game like yesterday? Clearly, the offense, which has carried its weight so far this season, was struggling, and the passing game wasn't clicking, and there just didn't seem to be in sync. And it was a day where the defense comes up with the 4 turnovers, with stops, it comes up with the 4 sacks and the 44 rushing yards. What is it about? Do you have conversations with the offense? Do you sense that's coming? Is it going to be one of those days? What's that like on the sidelines?
Yeah, man, I feel like it's a pretty close knit team, to be honest with you. So there's no pointing fingers. There's none of that. I think, again, man, there's gonna be days like that where as a defense we need to be picked up at times, and But we got so much confidence in them, and honestly, you know, they kind of showed it with going and icing the game at the end. You know, finishing that long drive off, going to get that fourth down, and you know, not giving the ball back, right? So I even think throughout some of the, you know, things that didn't go right, there's still so many things they did well. But I know, again, man, I know walking into this building later today, we're going to be, you know, correcting those things to make sure we can go play our best ball. But we got so much confidence in them, and I think, you know, Caleb has just taken so many strides this year and shown kind of, you know, where this team and where this offense is going in general, man. So I'm excited.
What has been the greatest difference of the run defense from the first month of the season to what you guys have done since the bye week? Was it? I mean, you held them to next to nothing. I think Alvin Kamara was once a great player in the league. The Saints had 44 yards rushing yesterday. I mean, that's got to be difficult for Kamara to get 2.5 a carry. You guys were all over him.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely starts with an attitude in that way, right? And especially knowing if we want to go and try to get these takeaways, and if we want to go and try to be aggressive on third down and do these things that we want to do, we got to stop the run. You know, we got to be able to get teams to these longer down the distances, and it starts as running the ball. You know, and I think we had a couple games that gashed us, and you know, especially you know, linebackers and defensive line, you know, we take pride in that. Being able to do that. So, again, it's a week-to-week thing, right? We're going to go. We got a really good run group. We got to go stop this week too. So, it's something that's again got to be at the top priority for us, so that we can go affect the game on third down.
TJ, a lot of people say the difference is you. That your return has keyed this great run defense. Do you feel that way yourself? Are you complimented by that idea?
I mean, for me, man, I'm trying to come in and do the best job that I can. You know, being in the middle now and just, you know, kind of orchestrating everything. I want to make sure we're all on the same page and everyone's understanding what we're trying to get done, man. And at the end of the day, go make some plays. I'm kicking myself from the two drops, so I'm gonna get back to work and go make those.
You referenced it casually, but you going back to the middle, how big of a difference does that make from a comfort level? And whose idea was it? Did you push for that? Did you think that was something that you felt like was important to this defense?
I mean, honestly, we both Tremaine and I going into the season, we didn't really. They kind of had us doing both during camp and things like that. So we were kind of comfortable with either. And I was playing well with them once I got hurt. You know, Noah Sewell came in and has been our mic, and he's done a great job. And Tremaine was slid over to Will. So you know, once I came back, it kind of just made sense to make that switch, I think. And you know, we kind of just been rolling with that, and you know, I think Noah's been honestly really good with that, with just me and him talking about what we're seeing, and obviously Tremaine's been a Mike here for the past couple of years, but you know, I played Mike most of my career, so really it definitely feels natural, and it feels like I'm coming back. So I don't know, man. It's been a good transition, but it's also a thing to where, you know, there's a lot going on, and Tremaine and I have played together for some time now, so we're both kind of understanding what we're trying to get done, and it's really like two Mike linebackers out there.
Great stuff, TJ. Really appreciate your time.
Thanks, TJ.
Yeah, thank you, guys.